herb. Yo, I don't think, come on, why not? People might misunderstand what we're trying to say, you know? But it's a part of life. Come on. Let's talk about sex, baby. Let's talk about you and me. Let's talk about all the good things and the bad things that make me. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex. Let's talk about sex.
Hey everyone, this is Dr. AJ, the wifepreneur, and thank you for joining me on my lunch break scope. Let's talk about sex. Look, I can help you change the way you think, look, and feel about marriage and sex. Do you know 1 out of 5 married couples in America have sex once a month? Just once a month. So that's about 252,000 people a year that need help with their sex life in their marriage. There is a whole bunch of people that are having sexless marriages. Do you know there's over 50% of marriages in a divorce, and it's because of 3 reasons: communication, finances, and sex. There's too many people out there that are unhappy about not having sex with their spouse. So I want to talk about that and give you some tips. So let's talk about how can you be the best lover you can be. There's 5 tips I want to give you about being the best lover. So the first one is listen to what your partner tells you or don't say. So that is what they speak and nonverbal communication. Nonverbal communication can tell you a lot about somebody. Can tell you a lot. Because people say one thing all the time, but if you look at the body language, it says another. So you want to look at both. Let your spouse tell you or have communication. You must have the conversation. Like we are having a conversation, you must have that same conversation and say, hey, babe, how do you view our sex life? Is there anything that you want me to keep doing, or is there anything that needs to be changed so we can have a greater sex life? Now, if you pay attention to your sexual ministry, that's how I like to talk about your ministry and your sexual moments in your ministry. If they're making noises, I'm going there, and it's enjoyable noises that they like it, then you know that you keep doing what you're doing. And so you ask them, you have to have communication. You ask them, you listen to them. If what you're doing, they're liking it, and it's giving them the euphoric feeling in that sexual ministry, then you keep doing what you're doing. If not, then make sure that you can have that conversation. Now, it's not always an easy conversation. It's not. And you have to be open. Your mind has to be open to accept what they need to say. Now, you may not like what they have to say, and it may hurt you. I'm not going to even lie to you. It may hurt you. However, if you want your love life to be better in your marriage, then you have to be willing to listen to what your spouse is saying, even if it hurts, and be willing to correct it. Number 2, foreplay is key. Foreplay is so important. Women, me as a wife, I don't want to always be jumped on. I want some foreplay. Now, sometimes it's good to have spontaneous sex and just get it done and over with. And sometimes it's like that. But other times we want to have some foreplay. We want you to hug and kiss on us. We want to hug and kiss on you. And as women, we have to be creative. Be creative with it. Initiate it. A lot of women don't initiate sex. Your husband don't always want to initiate sex all the time, because then he starts to think it's a chore. It's work. And you don't want to do that. So my suggestion is initiate it. Be creative. Maybe when he comes home from work, like my husband is a truck driver. So a lot of times he's gone during the week and he's home on the weekend. So maybe one night, make sure you have a bubble bath ready for them. Because men like to feel appreciated. Men like to feel they're needed and appreciated. And see, if you have them feel like they're needed and appreciated, then they'll be willing to go the extra mile when it comes to sex. And they'll be ready for sex. Trust me, they'll be ready and aroused. So use some foreplay, ladies. Be creative. Use foreplay. Now, number 3, it goes into that furthermore about the foreplay. Touch. Don't be afraid to get you some oils. Go to the adult store and get some oil, get some body oils, some nice smelling body oils, and massage your mate. Cause you know, let's face it, ladies. I know I teach college, and sometimes I have a rough day, especially with the students begging about grades and mad about their grades, and it just can get stressful. So just think about your spouse's job, whatever he does. It's a little bit stressful. So you want to give them massages and just make them feel better head to toe. Use your hands. Don't be afraid to use your hands. Don't be afraid to use your legs. Don't be afraid to use your mouth. Yes, kiss on their body. That should make you feel uncomfortable, because marriage gives you a license to have sex. So many Christians out there, and I'm going to say Christians, yes, just have issues with that. Stop having issues with that. It's about you having communications with your spouse, and your spouse having communication with you, and y'all understand what you want as to feel good. Then number 4, tell your partner what you like. So that's going back to the communication. You don't want to miss out on a great sexual experience. It's all about having a great sexual experience with your spouse. So communicate about it. Again, it might be a hard conversation, so you want to ease into that conversation. You want to always ease into conversation. And then 5, you must, and a lot of couples, especially when you have children, have problems with this. You have to make time for your sexual experience. Make time. You make time for everything else. Make time. That's part of taking care of your marriage. Make time. A lot of times infidelity can start in a marriage. It's because one of the things is, aside from communication, aside from finances, they're not getting their sexual needs met. Now, mind you, I'm not talking about the cheating guy. I'm not talking about the dog who you give your husband a lot of sex or enough sex and he still want to go out there and mess around. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about when you make up excuses. Now I'm 41. I have friends that are married, and we've had conversations, and they say, well, I don't feel like doing it, and, have issues, or I'm too tired, the kids, and make up excuses, or sometimes just don't have the libido to want to do it. So make time. Make that part of your date night. Make time to have sex. Now, make it spontaneous, ladies. Don't let it be always in the bedroom at 11 o'clock at night. If you have older children, hey, send them off on a play date, or do it when they're taking a nap. Just make it creative. You'll do it all over the house. If you have the kids that are gone for the weekend, do it all over the house. Make it fun. Sex is supposed to be fun in a marriage. It should not be as a chore, as a job. And enjoy each other. That's what you're together for. You're together to enjoy each other, to enjoy each other's company, and that will help make your marriage overall better. Sex is important, emotionally and spiritually and physically, and it keeps you close as a couple. Schedule sex. Schedule it. If you got to schedule it, take the time to schedule the sex. Schedule it. Now, it might just have to be and start out small. If you know you can't get it in every week, then schedule to at least have sex at least twice a month. Schedule to have sex twice a month with your husband or your wife. Say, hey, honey, or if you have the type of spouse that can't deal with the bluntness or the boldness of saying that you want to have sex, let's schedule having sex, then say, hey, let's talk about having a date night twice a month. And we're going to send the kids off. If you have somebody that loves to babysit your children, hey, we're going to send our children off for twice a month, and we're going to have a date night. And I say one of those date nights, go to a hotel, make it interesting. Go to a hotel and just enjoy each other. It's all about communication, and marriage is a ministry. Marriage is a ministry, everybody. That is a blessing and a privilege to be married, for you to be hooked up with somebody that you love and that you cherish. However, you have to put pride in your marriage. It's not going to fall into place. You have to work on it. It's like everything else. You have to work on things to make better. And part of it is working on you. So I'm glad I was able to help you with those five wonderful tips on how to be a better lover in your marriage. The first one, remember, is listen to what your partner says and what they don't say. Pay attention to when you do have your sexual ministry sessions, that if their noises, compliments that they enjoy what you are doing, then that's what you keep up. And then ask what they want or what they don't like. Secondly, foreplay. Foreplay is important. It's key to sexual encounter. Women, we don't always like to go for spontaneous, just to have intercourse. We want some foreplay, something to prelude that sexual moment. And do something. Be creative, women, and your husband will get aroused. Just be creative. They don't want to always initiate it all the time. Number 3, take time to touch each other. Hey, part of that foreplay, you need to touch. Touch, kiss, use your mouth, use your hands, caress. Make them feel wanted and appreciated. Number 4, tell your partner what you like. Don't be afraid. Now, you can't be afraid. That's part of the communication. Stop being afraid. You want a better marriage? You want sex in your marriage on a consistent, frequent basis? Then you need to communicate what you want. And then make time for sex. Make time for sex. I'm glad that Dr. AJ, the Wifepreneur, was able to help you today to think, look, and feel better about your marriage and sex in your marriage. I pray for good fortune in everything that you do and for your good health, that your everyday affairs prospers as well as your soul. If you want more information, follow me on my blog, www.themetamorphosis.info, or go to my YouTube channel, which is Dr. AJ James. You can go to my bio and click on my bio. Hey, if you want to send me a personal message that I can help you, just go to havegreatsexnow at gmail.com. I will see you on Wednesday for the next lunch scope. We're going to talk about sex again. Bye-bye.